You want to fix this so I can view comments?
Fix this before it falls over.
Yeah. He was trying. What? Oh, man. Good morning, everybody. Was that loud, please?
Yeah. There you go. Oh, fuck me. This thing is a mess.
So how you been, man? You been all right?
I mean, I'm doing fine. Normal stress, just trying to fucking figure out how to get to the next stage.
Me too. I had people in my house working on plumbing and electrical for the last couple of days, trying to get that house together. So it's been a few months, I can sell it. And be on my way.
On your way, huh?
Yeah, man. I really can't do much of anything until I sell that house. You know. I mean, as far as the things that I want to do. So I started setting up my my GoFundMe page. Me and my brother worked on it yesterday.
Yeah.
The next time he comes over, I gotta figure out how people are gonna. I have to have a bank account set up.
Oh, you don't have a bank account?
Well, yes, I do. I don't know if I want to use my Social Security bank account.
Why not?
I don't know.
It's GoFundMe.
Huh?
GoFundMe is like a legit company. People can't get into that.
Oh, okay.
Like that's something that's been around. Like
Oh, it's been around a while.
yeah, it's like legit. There's no like. You're not hearing stories of people fucking getting their money taken.
Good morning, Henry, and good morning, Dean. Hope it's a good morning for everybody. Did everybody see the hearings about UFOs yesterday?
Nope. I didn't know that was happening.
It was very interesting. Rudy has a prediction. By New Year's Eve, something really radical is going to happen as far as UFOs are concerned. Remember I said this, by New Year's Eve, something very radical is going to happen concerning UFOs. I had a dream, very vivid dream. And my vivid, you know what else that happened? Remember I told you every night I have a dream about a city? Didn't I tell you that before?
Maybe.
Yeah, I've had this dream several times about a city. I had it again last night. This is about the 6th time I've had this dream about this city that, I don't know. It's weird. Weird. But yeah, the UFO thing, man. They said a UFO came up out of the water. I think it was in the Pacific. It was a big square. They said it was the size of a football field.
Okay.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah.
It's not that big though.
But that's pretty big. I mean, a football field is what, 100 yards, right?
Yeah. I mean, we don't have shit that can fly it that's that big, obviously.
They don't have wings.
Well,
This thing was just a big square.
even with wings, you don't have anything that big. No football
No.
field fucking size planes.
No, not that's known to the public, no.
It's known to the public.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, I'm all fucked up, man. Just the general population has me fucked up.
Huh?
There's just so much crazy shit happening, man.
I mean,
And the people that should be in jail aren't going to jail. I don't understand.
why would anybody think that you should do the world the way it should be if every time you see, all you see is people who fucked over the world getting ahead?
Yeah,
Why
that's
would
what I'm
you
talking about.
not do it that way?
Because that's an evil way to go about it.
It doesn't matter.
And they should know better.
There's no consequence.
We're trying to make the world better, not the same bullshit over and over again.
Oh, I get that. But some people don't care. They only think about themselves.
Yeah, and we should take those people and find a planet that they can live on and send their monkey ass there. Or send them to the moon to live.
Glad you said monkey ass.
Huh?
I said, I'm glad you said monkey ass. If I'd have said monkey ass, people would be mad at me.
No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. Maybe a couple of nutballs would.
Yeah, well, a lot of nutballs. So I have someone I know in my life who's upset about Ariel being black.
What?
She doesn't understand
Who
it.
is Ariel?
You don't know who Ariel is?
No, I don't.
Oh my God, you're old.
Oh my God, you're old. Who is Ariel?
Little Mermaid.
Oh, I wouldn't know that. I don't follow cartoon shit.
Well, it's not cartoon anymore. They went live action.
Oh, and they got a black Ariel.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. I knew what you were talking about because everything right now is anti-black, anti-woke.
Yeah, I know, because everything feels so woke to the people that are. It's because they're using a Latino woman for Snow White in the remake.
And no dwarfs. There'll be no dwarfs. I heard this on YouTube the other day. A lot of people upset because there are no 7 dwarfs in this movie.
There's just 7 dudes.
No, there's no 7 nothing. It's her and a prince and just people. There are no dwarfs.
Oh, so it doesn't get to the dwarf part. Oh, okay.
Nope, no dwarfs in this one. I think
So it's a prequel.
I think the people that are complaining about woke think that dwarfs mean pedophilia or something like that.
Wow.
Or dirty old men. You know what I mean? So they eliminated that whole.
No, it's because it makes fun of people who are dwarves,
That too.
in a sense. It doesn't.
But it also bring, if you wanted to, you could bring on a conversation, what are 7 old men doing with a young girl? That aspect too, you know.
Well, they're not human.
See here.
That was the problem with Snow White. It doesn't portray them as human. The dwarves aren't human. They're dwarves. They're different.
Well, a dwarf is human, man.
I know what dwarf in real life is, but in
in
Snow White,
okay,
they're not portrayed as human. They're like these things that are like human, but they're not.
Oh, okay.
They're like leprechauns.
I didn't realize that.
That's kind of how I felt like.
Because I don't follow that kind of shit, so I don't know.
Which again, when it was written, is how fucking people thought of dwarves. Think about that. Like,
You're right.
People thought dwarves were some other species.
You're right. Archaic thinking for archaic people.
Well, not knowing anything. Like if you've never seen a dwarf, and all of a sudden, like, and never knew that there was one. Because again, you're talking about a time before you have.
But you know, at one time, dwarfs were, or little people, let's call them that,
Yes.
were very popular in movies. A lot of movies had them in.
Yeah. Because
What is it? The most popular one now is that
Because most people.
Dinklage. What is his name?
Yeah. Because most people haven't seen them before. How do you get people to the movie theater in the 1930s and 20s? 20s, 30s, and 40s. Back, for one, when people got no money. For two, you want to show them things they've never seen before. So when the kid comes home and says, Dad, I saw a fucking dwarf, I'm like, because again, that's what I saw an Oompa Loompa or whatever, like, whatever it may have been.
Whatever name you want to use.
Yeah, whatever it was. I saw that and it gives you a reason to go. Because in your little world, they don't exist.
Right. In your daily world, you don't see.
Just like dragons don't exist. Or other things like princesses and kings and all those things don't exist. So that's why they did movies about them back in the day.
You know, our society, the American society, or maybe I should say no, I'm not going to say Western society. There's other democratic societies that aren't like us. I've been doing research on violence. When I say research, that means I watch things and talk about things and listen to things pertaining to violence for a reason. We are a violent-ass society. Man, you look at TV, every 10 minutes somebody shooting a machine gun. Every 10 minutes. Video games, machine guns. And you can choose the type of machine gun you want to use. See, it's too much of that shit. They're scared to show sexual things, but they don't mind showing violent shit.
Because the sexual revolution doesn't kill things. The war mongering motherfuckers.
Well, that's what it's all about. You know, it's constantly police series on TV. Think about TV. And most of us, police, constantly chasing somebody, kill somebody. It's just crazy, the amount of violence on everything, on all the communication devices. You know, even these superhero movies, it's about destruction and killing.
Well, some of them are.
Most of them are. Most of them got a villain that kills a whole planet. They be destroying whole planets.
Yeah, well.
I mean, come on. Can we stop doing that shit? Then they wonder why a kid takes a gun to school and shoots his yeah, it's true.
I know.
They done research on that shit.
No, they haven't.
Oh, they have.
The guns at the schools literally have nothing to do with the fucking fact that kids are fucking playing video games or watching things. Because they've been...
Wrong.
Because if you remember correctly, Rambo happened in the fucking 80s.
And we would have shootings like that.
No, you weren't. Columbine was the first high school shooting.
Right.
Which was 97.
Yes.
So you're telling me that Rambo, the 70s, which was Rambo, Arnold Schwarzenegger, fucking Clint Eastwood shooting some dude in a fucking park, all these different things, and there's no school shootings. But now, all of a sudden it's the 90s.
Because it's easier to get a gun. It was harder back then to get, and nearly impossible to get an automatic weapon.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
It's impossible to get them now.
No, it's not. You can build that at home. They call them ghost guns. You can build a fucking AR-15 like weapon at your house, and you can go online and find out how to build them.
I'm not saying that.
Back then, you can go online anywhere and learn how to build a fucking ghost gun.
Well, back then they didn't have online.
Or anyway, any kind of way. And most of these ghost guns are being built by teenagers and young adults. You know what? Any country that would decide to try to invade the United States is out of their fucking mind. Because there's so... I heard a statistic. There are 300 million more guns than people in the United States.
But guns compared to... Even, it don't matter, man. If you don't know how to use a gun in real action, if you're not trained like a soldier is, you're going to lose to the soldier 9 times out of 10.
Hey, of course. And these motherfuckers are trained.
And
they might have looked at a couple of movies.
But most of the people that own all those guns, because again, there's a lot of guns, but there's a small percentage of people who own a fuck ton.
Oh yeah.
And they don't fucking know
that
how to
serial
use
killer
it.
dude that you just busted last week, they said he had a vault in his house. That's what they say. And they went in the vault, they found 290 guns. One person.
Yeah, that's small, I think.
And when I was in the band I used to be in called The Chairs, one of the members of The Chairs, he likes guns and swords and shit. He got sword and gun room, and he had a ton of guns. And I used to ask him, what you need all these fucking guns for? He had the helmet, he had the Class 4 body armor. I said, what the fuck do you think is getting ready to happen?
Was he black?
No.
Oh.
No.
Well, then he was probably racist.
Well, you know, I would have said no because he was a good friend of mine for years, but he did vote for Trump.
Being friends with a black person doesn't mean you can't be racist.
No, I know that. And I might have been his only black friend.
Probably were. And it was a way for him to pretend like he wasn't racist.
I'd hate to think that about him because I like him as a person. You know?
That's fine. He's probably a nice guy. And when I say racist, I just mean...
Yeah, I know what you mean. You don't mean...
I don't mean he's malicious.
A killer type racist.
Yeah,
no.
I just mean he's a person that would
not
follow the fucking group. If
yeah,
the Nazis took back over,
and not that
he'd be like, I hate you, in a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
I know about fucking 25 people in my life that are probably like that. The moment it takes back over, they're like, well, I gotta do what I gotta do.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
You know what I'm saying? And then not mad at them or judge them, or because it's just, you know, you are who you are. You're not, some people are not. There's a reason why the world has done it multiple times. It's happened over and over and over again, where one person is able to take a bunch of other people and get them to fuck over thousands and millions of people for their benefit. Not for the benefit of the people that are doing it, but for the benefit of the people who are running it.
I watched a couple of vlogs about Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, what other one? There was another one. Maybe it was Kenya. But they're talking about how these German, Russian, Chinese, and American companies are exploiting these people. for the batteries,
Yeah, for all
for
the
titanium, all kinds, because Africa's rich in that shit.
yeah, and as expensive as that shit is, as much as it's used, you would think they would be less poor. But again,
They should be.
the
But
person who was mad about the aerial thing and the snow
oh yeah,
thing
right.
had even said something to that extent. Like they're the poor. It's like you not understand that the reason they're poor is because they're not allowed to actually
Get
well,
money.
The people, the rich people, and I'm like, there was no rich. You're not getting it.
But you're not getting it.
These were villages. These were people who were living normal lives, and the English came in and were like,
And they looked
"You
at
do
them,
everything for us."
and they looked at them as savages. And
Yeah,
not human.
and took their land,
Took their land, minerals,
and then
diamonds.
sold it over and over again.
Yeah. That fucking England. Oh man.
Yeah, they were
They're
rough.
disgusting, man.
Yeah.
The things they did to people are disgusting.
Yeah, the royal family is definitely not something I would celebrate.
No, not at all. They were talking about how sad everybody was when the Queen died. And they had this African dude, he hit one of these countries. He said, we celebrated, but we were sad.
No. We're glad that you're just gone. She didn't do nothing for us.
Didn't do shit for them. Oh yeah, she did stuff, but not for them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. What a world we live in, man. What a fucking world we live in.
Yeah, but it's hard to have that conversation with the person because it's like, how do I don't know.
Well, it's even harder now. After all this new media and
Yeah,
the
that's what
rumors
she's
and the
seeing.
bullshit.
She's seeing it and it's triggering her and it's like, why is it triggering you?
I mean, come on. Why are you upset? Because a fictitious character is of color. I mean, it's stupid. And first of all, it's a story.
Half-fish woman.
I mean, what the fuck? How you gonna get upset about something like that?
Yeah, I know.
What kind of thinking are you doing that's gonna upset you?
Well, it's back to the whole, they're replacing us. That's the fear.
And
Assume that's where it
and then,
comes from.
you know, the deep thing about it all is this: they're talking about people of color replacing them. They replaced.
No, I get that. But at the same time, you're talking about people who haven't benefited from the system as others have. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Look at
because
my eyebrow.
the system has helped a lot of people, but there's also people who are basically the same, just don't get anything.
Those people are people who didn't really want it.
No.
Yes.
So you're saying I didn't want it?
No, you're not poverty. You're not in poverty. I mean, you're not rich by any stretch of the imagination, but you're not. Look at it this way: you know where your next meal is coming from every day. You know,
It's on a balance, man.
But still-
It's been on a balance for 10 years.
but still, it's food all around you. And have you been eating every day?
Mhm.
Okay, that's the only point I'm making. There are people that don't eat every
Hold
day
on.
that are truly.
I get that. And there's no, my point is I'm saying I've tried and I haven't even come close. These people probably have tried too and they're in worse situations. Again, a white dude in Alabama who lives in a shit fucking whole town that has nothing, no education system, nothing, is just as likely to get out of it as some kid who lives in the wrong part of Detroit that they gutted and took out the education system. Because again, he has no way out. If you haven't, Holly's a good example. Why didn't I go to college when I was a kid? Because I couldn't get the fuck out of Holly. Because there was no way for me to go to school on a regular basis because
Okay.
I didn't have a fucking vehicle.
Okay.
And I couldn't afford to pay for rent and a vehicle with the job I had and go to school, which I would have had to pay for myself because I couldn't have got fucking
So
loans.
you have a good idea how poor people live.
Exactly.
You have an idea,
I have an idea.
right?
So again, at this time, homeless, going from friend to friend to friend. Living however I can, not paying rent in places because I'm making stupid choices. I'm making dumb choices while this is all happening.
Mm-hmm.
This is all my fault to an extent. But at the same time, if there would have been a bus or a train that came to Holly, that took me from Holly to Pontiac, or some other place that was close that I could have gone to a college, or gone to something, or gone and got a job in fucking Pontiac at a restaurant, instead of Holly, which there's only 3 of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, if there was a way for me to get the fuck out of the town, things change.
So what did I do?
You left.
I didn't have any money when I left.
Again,
I hitchhiked.
it's a different fucking time. You can't hitchhike in the fucking 90s,
Oh yeah,
dude.
no, I know that. I'm just making a point.
You're saying something that doesn't make sense to me. You said you hitchhike. I can't hitchhike every fucking day in Holly because, for one, no one's ever gonna pick me up because they think I'm fucking serious.
Well, I'm not saying I hitchhiked every day.
No, I'm saying.
But I got out of Detroit. That's what I'm saying.
But you got out of Detroit you were in Detroit where you could go from one side to the other side on a bus. You could do things.
Man, you're making Holly sound like
it's in the middle of nowhere.
I have to go to Holly to see this.
There's no fucking transit in Holly except for a car. You can't get to Holly.
Even today?
Yes. If you want to go to Holly, you have to take a fucking car.
So Holly isn't a city.
No, we're not just talking Holly. We're talking every fucking city outside of everywhere. If you're outside of we're at 10 Mile right now. If you go north 10 fucking miles, you lose buses. Okay. Maybe 20 miles, maybe not 10 miles.
Okay.
15 miles.
Eventually,
you lose buses. You go that way
and
a
there's
certain
no
distance,
trains.
you lose buses. There's no trains. So as soon as you get out past that point, anything out in that area, Holly, Fenton, Davisburg, fucking Clarkston doesn't, well, Waterford has buses, I think. I think Waterford has buses.
Yeah, well, I think
because that's Pontiac.
Buses goes to Waterford.
Yeah, it's Pontiac. But that's not
Waterford.
20 miles out.
No, it's not.
No. Once you get past Waterford and all that shit, and even then, if you want to live in the rich part of Waterford, there's no buses.
There's no buses. You don't need them.
Yeah. That's how they made it. There's a reason they did it that way.
Oh, without a doubt. There's a reason why for years and years and years before they had this metro bus system, if a black person wanted to look for a job, let's say in Pontiac or someplace, they had to go through the hell to get there. And then if they got the job, how would they get there every day?
Oh yeah, like that one dude, they remember that story about that guy who
The
walked to work every day?
Yeah, somebody gave him a
It's
car.
like, one guy does that out of fucking 10 million people.
Yeah.
And you're like, meh, system works.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. Again, the only jobs I can get won't pay for a house, won't pay for a car.
Dee says Steve is right about Holly property stuff.
Yeah, Holly is a fucking anywhere out there, even where he's at.
Yeah.
There's no transport. So if you're a poor white person in those areas, a poor Mexican or a poor black
Or whatever
person,
you are,
you're fucked. You're really to get to those.
your options are limited.
Yes, and again, our city is not a fucking shining beacon of fucking transportation either. Detroit's one of the reasons Detroit is a failure, in a sense. It looks like it does in most places, is because there's not an actual transit system to get people there.
That it used to have.
Yeah, because it was built around a fucking transit system. It was
Like I
built with no
said.
parking. It was built with places that didn't have that shit because they didn't need it.
See,
And now you got fucking houses where, like Hamtramck, where you got cars all the way up and down.
Like I said, I'm old enough to remember the trolleys, the electric buses, and all that stuff running up and down Woodward, Gratiot, Michigan.
Yeah.
Now, if you, okay, last year my car was at the shop, and the guy couldn't bring it to me. I had to go get it. And it was about 6 months after my hip operation, so I couldn't walk that far.
Right.
So I had to wait for a bus. Bus is at, what, 500, 600 feet from my house, the bus stop.
Yes.
So I walk to the bus stop, I get there about 3 o'clock. Bus didn't come till 5.
Yeah. They're not on time.
2 hours.
It's like one of the worst systems in the country, I think.
2 hours.
There's a reason why the city doesn't get hired, but doesn't go up. Because you got to be wealthy to live in the city.
Well, they're supposed to have all these new buses coming.
It's not new buses. They need a tram. They need a fucking train that goes up and down Woodward, that goes up and down Gratiot. They literally have the perfect system for a train system. The roads are set up. Michigan Avenue, Woodward, Mound.
I told you.
All those fucking
they
roads
used to have that.
are. You run trains up them bitches that come up and down. Like the fucking whatever it is.
But let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you why it's not like that.
Because they don't want
They don't want
people.
poor people to be able to come up to their where they live at.
Or come into the city. They want you to stay at fucking 8 Mile.
They
don't want you to come down to fucking downtown.
Oh no, well, there's nothing down there for you.
That's what I'm saying. You're poor.
Unless you can find a job down there.
Yeah, and even then,
But that's becoming snobby. A lot of Detroit is becoming snobby.
Yeah, it's being gentrified, as they call it.
Yeah. But see, it's different now because there's some black people that can afford that shit. Back in the old days, there was no black people that could afford that shit.
Whether or not they could afford it or not is irrelevant. They wouldn't let them buy.
Oh yeah. But redlining is what it was called.
Yeah. But anyways, we went along. I got shit to do.